friends, subcultures. You might have guessed we're talking about one of my personal favorites, the emos. But first, before talking about the emos, we need to understand what is a subculture? Easy. A subculture is a unique culture shared by a smaller group of people who are also a part of a larger culture. Cultures usually contain many subcultures. Each subculture has norms and customs that aren't a part of the broader culture. Let's talk about the emos. There is a general consensus that the emo movement started around 1984 with the formation of the band Rites of Springs. This band had such a great impact that many bands started following their chorus and becoming a new genre. As far back as the 90s, the term emo wasn't really a movement yet. It was just a label, something that people were called. It was more of an adjective than a genre name, a description applied to underground bands, all sorts of bands. That's why the term emo isn't applicable to just one sort of band, one type of band. Nobody can agree on when the term emo started rising. No one knows which was the first band to be called emo. But what we do know is that emo was a label that was used to attack this band. People didn't like the tag emo or the label emo, and some bands really don't like the label emo as to this day. Emo as a movement didn't become a thing until the late 90s, when it started to really rise into its own and embrace the label they were given. By 2002, the scene is faced with a new question. Is it necessary to be underground to be emo? The answer soon became no. By 2002, bands that were born and bred in the punk scene became more known. Bands such as Thursday and At the Drive-In started rising to the top of the charts. Dashboard Confessional, for example, became an alternative radio staple with their single Screaming Infidelities, and Jimmy Eat the World saw their single The Middle become a legitimate mainstream hit. This band started to find their videos at the top of the charts and breaking into regular rotation in times when TV stations still aired music videos and people still tuned in to watch them. One thing about these bands we can all see, they all sound widely different. That's why the emo tag cannot be labeled as one single genre. Now, if you think 2002 was a strong time for the emo movement, you need to wait to 2005. 2005 was the pop of the emo movement. Generation of emo takes something from the other. For 2005's generation, it was the gray poses, the bright hooks, and especially the jet black hair and the eyeliner. Makeup was a really distinctive trait of the emo movement, and also was their hair. Their hair is really distinctive. It usually comes covering one side of their head or one eye. 2005 made emo a commercial force. Emo outfits started to dominate the once punk-centric Warped Tour. This proves that emo is big enough to build an entire festival around it. An important trait of people who belong in the emo subculture is that they place a very big importance of expressing themselves through art, poetry, and music. Chemical Romance was a very influential band for the emo subculture because it made people really empathize with them. People could really identify with the singer Gerard Way. They were really influential because their lyrics meant something to people. They meant something to someone, and that's what made them so important. Emo kids really took pride on the music they listened to and what they were worth. This gave them an outlet. They expressed themselves through art, through music, through poetry, because that gave them a chance to express who they were, what they thought, and how they felt. Subcultures are a very important part of our society because it gives people a chance to think outside the box and think differently and be different and express themselves different ways. Now, I want you to think about this. What does emo mean to you? What have you learned new from this video? Is there anything that intrigues you from emo culture? Let me know. We'll see you in the next video.